Hey, Jared, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, man, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can see you. How's your day going aside from having to do press in the middle of the holiday season?
Oh man, everything's great. I just moved, so it's been like I moved like 3 weeks ago. So I've like been unpacking during the holidays. I feel like everything was great. I just haven't taken much of a break, which is fine. How are
Hmm.
you?
I am going nonstop, but in a good way. And it's
Awesome.
a pleasure to be connecting with you because, well, on top of what you just said, new album in January. How long has it been done for?
Oh man, well, I started writing the record. Basically, the record has been done now. I would say not too long, maybe about 4.5 months
Oh,
that it was finally finished up. But I mean, I started writing for the record. Geez, it would have been March of 2020 when I got home off the road. And I
yeah.
put all my energy into these songs. And it's funny now because we're getting so close. Feels like I'm having a baby, man. I'm like every day I'm like, we're getting closer.
Yeah, although it's been a while since we've seen a full length from you, you have
Yeah.
not been quiet at all as a writer. I've been getting continually press releases. You were just in New York City a couple of weeks ago
Yeah,
doing a,
man.
a small, intimate gig at the Mercury Lounge. So it's really cool to see you growing and growing. I say that as someone, my first exposure to you was on the Chris Jericho cruise, where I went,
Oh, cool.
who's this Jared James Nichols guy? And then you see you play and you go, oh, future star right here. So in the 3 years or so since then, we've seen you become a Gibson artist
Yep.
and rise in spite of COVID.
Yeah. I love all I can say is I love it so much. I love music like you and like anyone that's into what we do. But also it's just been so much fun that for me a lot of people say, "Man, you work a lot. You're always hustling." And it's like, "Well, this is what I love to do." So it's really awesome because yeah, that Jericho cruise, that was, that was the first cruise I'd ever went on and it was so much fun and I got to meet so many awesome people on it. And then here we are. It's crazy that it was already 3 years ago, man. But it's good because it shows me I kind of have a good timeline of like, okay, I did that. Okay, I started working with Gibson officially, like,
Yeah.
so it's pretty cool.
Now, I think that you have more pressure on you than the average artist. And this is not a compliment statement that I give to most people. And I say that because for you,
Mhm.
not only do you have to look cool and not only do you have to have a great song, but the guitar part has to be really cool as well. Joe Bonamassa has the same exact thing going on, where a
Mhm.
lot of people, it's just the song has to be good. Do
Yeah.
you feel that pressure or have I just instigated something right there?
No, no, not at all. Actually, it's a good point because I think what comes with me as a package is the fact that people are wanting to see or they're wanting to hear like incredible guitar playing, something that they're going to go, wow, that's crazy. So every time I pick up the guitar, and I used to be like nervous about it, where I'd be like, oh man, like, oh, I better play something. I better make this right. But
Mhm.
now it's more like what I try and do is this morning I was literally like, okay, I've been playing guitar for like 15 years.
Mhm.
That's a pretty decent amount of time. And I'm thinking like things I want to learn or things that I want to, grow into. Of course, you never stop learning. But now it's like I just want to have my own personality and I want to continually focus on that. So when I pick up the guitar now, instead of it totally being a thing where I'm like, I have to dazzle them, I want them to say, well, whether I like it or not, I know that's Jared James Nichols playing guitar. You know what I mean? Like, so they can
Yeah.
hear me in the guitar. But it's always been a thing with guitar players. I would definitely agree with you. There is a certain stance where it's like, you got to be ready to play.
Yeah. In your case, I'm curious about this particular thing. When I talk to people who are great at guitar, usually they say, oh, the first 5 years, I played too many notes. I was trying to impress people. At what point are you happy with your guitar playing? I assume high school, you go, too many notes at the talent show.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But at what point do you go, please listen from this point forward and nothing before then?
It's funny, like the great question. I
Every
feel like
now and then I've one of those. It does not happen often, but thank you.
yeah. No, no, seriously though. When I think about it, like I would say the first 5 years, it's true. It's like you're getting your feet wet and it's so much of like what is it like? Like when you go into a casino and there's all the lights flashing and stuff. What's that called? You know what I'm trying to say? For
Yes.
guitar, it's the same thing where I'm like, oh my, I got to learn everything. Oh, and it's like, I don't have enough time in the day to even comprehend it, you know? So I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm going to learn this Led Zeppelin riff, and then I'm going to learn this, and I'm going to learn this. And it just got to a point, I think probably 5 years in is a good timeline where you start to think about, okay, I learned all this different kind of stuff, kind of learned it. Now, what do I really want to play? I feel like really every, like, I would say three years, I would hit a plateau and then I'd break through it. So I feel like learning guitar and absorbing guitar and kind of living with it, it just takes a lot of time. And for me, I would say I didn't start getting comfortable with my guitar playing, honestly, probably until I was 28. You
Hmm.
know, like it took me a long time to be able to listen to myself play the guitar, which is funny. You know, like I always used to cringe. I was like, oh, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. And like I would be embarrassed almost, even though people would go, dude, this sounds awesome. I was like, it's not the sound in my head yet. So
Hmm.
that it takes time, but I don't know if you're ever truly satisfied. But now I've gotten to a point where I can listen and go, okay, I can live with my guitar playing. Now I just need to, you know, weak points, pinpoint them.
Right. Well, you mentioned Gibson, or at least I mentioned Gibson, and then you in response mentioned Gibson,
Yeah.
which is a big part of your sound. Is
Mhm.
there an amp endorsement and or a pedal endorsement as well to
Here, I'm
help
gonna
get that
flip it.
sound?
Take a look. Take a look. Hold on, I'm flipping it. Let's see if you can see it. Oh, can you see that?
Okay, yeah, Black Star.
Yeah. So actually, I just flipped it because we were right here. That amplifier is they came out with that in 2019. It's called the JJN 20 watt. And
Mhm.
it's a signature amplifier design with them. We've done 3 iterations of them. So I've been using Black Star amps. Man, I've been using them since I moved to California in 2011, 2012. And I just love them because for me, it's a really big part of my sound, just as the Gibson guitars are. I just grew with these amps. So it was
Mhm.
almost like, you know, there's a point where you try and like taste test everything. When I found these Black Star amps, I really found a cool kind of synergy between, like, I'm getting nerdy about like a
Okay.
Marshall sound and a Fender sound, and this blend where it was like, okay, cool, it's articulate, but it's really heavy. So I started playing them, and then the company was so cool that they were like, you know, I remember I was going to like a festival, Sturgis, the first big festival I ever played, opening for Skinnerd,
Yeah.
and they sent amps. And I was like, whoa, okay. And then I was going to the UK for the first time. They sent amps. Then I got home and they sent amps to my house for me to keep. So it was just like, it was perfect for me because not only do I love the product, but I like working with awesome people. It's just the same with Gibson.
Wow. So that must add an extra element to your career where not only do you have to have an album every 2 to 3 years and
Yeah.
X number of tour dates, but you also have to keep up endorsement relationships regularly. The holiday
Yeah.
cards to go out to all of them, the meet and greets, get them on the guest list, etc.
Yeah. I obviously, like I said before, like with the music, like I love the guitar so much and
Yeah.
everything that goes with it. So like growing up, like I never dreamed this far to be like, man, I'm going to be working with Gibson. I'm going to do this and that. But I always was like, man, someday if I could ever know someone at these companies.
Yeah.
And now to have these full-on endorsement deals, it's pretty amazing. And for me, it's just like obviously a dream come true. But it's weird because I don't think a lot of people understand that from the outside, it's such a big part of kind of making the wheel go around, right? It's like you
Mhm.
said, making records, getting on tours, you know, traveling. That in and of itself is a lot, and it's like a
Yes.
lot to deal with. So then throwing in all these endorsements and stuff, most people, you know, you go, man, you got to do all that kind of stuff. Honestly, they help me out in a way that, like, you know, it's like I can call my friends at Gibson and be like, listen, I'm going to Germany and I need 3 Les Pauls. Boom. You know, so like those are the really good perks of it. And like
Mhm.
I said before, just working with awesome people, it feels good to have like a team. You know what I mean?
Yeah, with Gibson, not to make this the Gibson interview of
Oh
Gibson
no, it's cool.
interviews, but a really cool thing that they put out within the last 6 months was Jerry Cantrell showing off his stuff at home. So there also is that cool part of Gibson, and then they put out Slash's new album as a label. So
Yeah.
we are seeing them be more than a guitar company.
Mhm.
and the artist relation things is happening. So it's cool to see where this eventually goes for you. And going back, this new album is new to us, comes out next month. For you, it's now old in a way. Do you know what 2023 and 2024 are looking like for you in terms of touring and recording?
Yeah. So here's the thing, man. As far as the recording goes, I haven't stopped writing since making the record. So I don't want to say like I already have another album ready, because that's not the truth. But the reality is, man, I took this record that we're about to release, and it was just such an inspiration for me to go,
Mhm.
you know what? Okay, cool. This is where I'm at. Like the creative juices were flowing. It's like I'm not going to stop it. So as far as recording goes, we'll see what happens. Obviously no time is set to get back in the studio yet. I really want to give this record. I feel like this record to me, it really is my sound. That's why I went self-titled. It really feels like this is the one that feels right to me. So I really want to give it its time in the sun and really just play it everywhere. This record, it's so cool. I'll get into the nerdy stuff, but like we tracked it live to tape and then I sang over it. So one of the cool things is what you hear is what it was. There was no overdubs or, oh, we'll fix that. So it's going to be a great record to play live. And I think going alongside that, we're already booking into summer and fall of 2023 and beyond. I could easily see being on the road for a few years promoting this one.
As long as you like being on the road, then that works. Because some artists, don't want to put them on the road. So
Yeah.
Down to my last two questions here, and then I'm going to let you roam free and enjoy the fact that you just moved. And so thanks again for taking the time.
Of course, man.
First one is, I don't hear Van Halen influence in your music, but I know you are a fan of Van Halen.
Yeah.
But where was Van Halen in terms of getting you to start playing guitar in the first place?
Oh, dude, Eddie, this is the thing with Eddie, ultimate guitar hero. I can't say that I have Eddie in my playing, but there's so much trace of him. So check this out. The first guitar lesson I ever had, when I got a guitar, it came with a free lesson. My first teacher, his name is Craig Freemoth. I walk in the room. He's playing a Wayne Kramer custom built Bumblebee, right? Red and black. Wow. I walk in, he does, wow, he starts tapping, and then all of a sudden he starts doing Cathedral. I'm sitting there at like 15 years old going, what? I need to know how to do that. The first riff he ever taught me was the Van Halen version of "You Really Got Me." And then I figured, I was like, this is amazing. Of course, I was into Eddie. And then like moving forward, man, like I remember, like I was in Los Angeles, and the producer I was working with on my first record, Warren Hewart, he was working with Eddie's assistant, making a record for her. And he played Eddie some of the mixes of our record. And Eddie actually called on the phone, and I talked to him for a second. It was crazy. This was in like 2014, 15.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. But then the catalyst for my signature guitars is a lot due to Eddie, because, going with that single pickup vibe. I loved the fact that the Frankenstein and Eddie, he could do everything with like one pickup on a piece of wood with a whammy bar. Like he could do anything. So that between him and Leslie West, that was like the ethos for my signature guitar. So there, Eddie, dude, I'm a huge Van Halen fan. And
Leslie inspired Eddie Van Halen, which most people don't really realize. So that's cool that your guitar heroes go back multiple generations. It's not like you just started with Zakk Wylde and pushed forward.
No, man. And that's the best part about, I feel like, being a student is like, when I hear Zakk, and then I'll hear Eddie or Dimebag or any of these guys, and I'll go, okay, cool. Who did they learn from?
Yeah.
And then I remember even going back, because I was obviously probably like yourself, I see your shirt, but like, hearing that stuff on the radio. And then it's like, well, who influenced Priest, or who influenced like Black Sabbath? Yeah. Wait, Led Zeppelin was influenced by these blues musicians. Okay, cool. Let me see what those guys are all about. So it's just like, man, the roots of the music we love are so deep. The fact that like you can literally trace it, it's kind of like you're on like a wild chase. You know what I mean? It's like, where am I going to go next? And I love that fact about music.
Amen. The last question for you, nothing to do with the fact that you have a new album coming out next month. Do you have a TV recommendation, a show that we should be watching in this household because, hey, Jared likes it?
I watch a lot of dumb TV shows, dude. Have you ever seen Tim and Eric?
Oh yes. Oh yeah. There is a Steve Brule poster about.
You have a Steve Brule. I was just gonna say, Channel 5 News. I'm a big check it out with Steve Brule guy. I love. Have you seen Beef House?
Oh yeah, we love Beef House. Okay,
Dude, so
we're watching the same stuff there. Have you watched the other two?
No.
There's your HBO Max recommendation at you.
Nice. The other two. Okay, cool. I'm gonna put it in there just to make. I have HBO Max. I'll put it in there so I'll remember it for later. You know what's funny about me with TV? Whenever I watch shows, like my wife, like she'll watch shows and be into series. For me, it's like, dude, I'll turn on Tim and Eric and or like something like that, and I'm just like, this is all I want.
Amen. Well, JJN, thank you for the years of great music. Looking forward to everything that's coming, and hope to see you live in New York in the very near future, man. Thanks for your time.
I'll see you soon, dude. Have a great one. Happy New Year. Thanks for your time, man.
Paltrocast.